In the world of professional boxing, glory comes with a belt strapped around a fighter's waist, but not all belts are created equal. Imagine stepping into the ring, not just to prove you're the best, but to navigate a labyrinth of titles and champions. Among the sea of contenders and organizations, for major bodies reign supreme: the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO. Yet, even with these prestigious titles, the path to true supremacy, a fully unified, undisputed championship, remains as elusive as a perfect knockout punch. Adding intrigue to the mix is the ring title, awarded since 1922 by the iconic American boxing magazine, often hailed as the People's Championship. This tangled web of belts, titles, and rivalries has given boxing its drama, its legends, and its endless quest for one true champion. But before we dive into the thrilling tales of championships and their controversies, smash the subscribe button and give us a like to stay updated with more incredible boxing stories. Let's get started. In the roaring 1920s, boxing was more than a sport. It was a spectacle, a battleground where legends were made and crowds roared with every crushing blow. Yet, amidst the glamour of the prize fights, there was chaos. Oversight was fragmented, and boxing's future hung in the balance. Enter the National Boxing Association, NBA, born in 1921 to bring order to this wild and unpredictable sport. The NBA's first move was bold, recognizing the Jack Dempsey, Georges Carpentier heavyweight championship fight. This landmark bout, which attracted over 90,000 spectators and millions in radio listeners, solidified the NBA's ambition to shape boxing's future. By 1962, this trailblazing organization had evolved into the World Boxing Association, WBA, a name reflecting its global ambitions. With new international members and a relocation of its headquarters to Panama in 1975, the WBA grew into a powerhouse, influencing boxing on a global scale. But as its influence grew, so did its controversies. Persistent allegations of corruption began to shadow its legacy. Prominent boxing promoter Bob Arum once revealed he had to pay off officials to secure rankings for his fighters, a claim that underscored suspicions of biased judging and manipulated rankings. Despite these challenges, the WBA soldiered on, carving its niche as one of the sport's most recognizable institutions. In 2000, the WBA introduced its Super Champion designation, initially meant for fighters holding titles from other major organizations. Yet this innovation quickly spiraled into complexity. Fans were left scratching their heads as the WBA crowned multiple champions in the same weight class: super, regular, interim, and even gold champions, each with their own claim to glory. By December 2019, the heavyweight division alone had 4 WBA title holders: Anthony Joshua, Manuel Charr, Trevor Bryan, and Robert Helenius, all vying for recognition. The confusion reached absurd heights in 2024 when Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez defended different WBA super middleweight titles on the same event date. Public backlash ensued, fueled further by controversial decisions like the 2021 Gabriel Maestre versus Michael Fox fight, where allegations of bias and corruption reignited debates over the organization's credibility. Even efforts to simplify its championship structure, such as phasing out interim titles, were short-lived. By 2024, the titles returned, further muddying the waters. The WBS rankings, too, came under fire, with incidents like the 2015 ranking of Yemeni boxer Ali Ramy, who had already passed away, highlighting glaring flaws in its system. Yet, despite its tangled history, the WBA remains an essential part of boxing lore. It has hosted some of the sport's most iconic bouts and played a pivotal role in navigating boxing's transition to a global stage. Its journey, marked by triumph and turmoil, mirrors the very essence of boxing itself: gritty, unpredictable, and full of drama. It was Valentine's Day in 1963, but instead of roses, the delegates in Mexico City brought ambition. Representatives from 11 nations, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Argentina, and the Soviet Union convened at the invitation of Mexican President Adolfo Lopez Mateos. Their mission was clear: to unite a sport fractured by competing authorities and usher boxing into a new era. From this historic gathering emerged the World Boxing Council, WBC, an organization destined to become a cornerstone of professional boxing. The WBC didn't just aim to regulate boxing, it aspired to revolutionize it. At the time, the sports landscape was dominated by groups like the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, the National Boxing Association, NBA, and the European Boxing Union, EBU. Yet these bodies lacked the international scope that WBC envisioned. Over the decades, the WBC expanded its influence, eventually boasting 161 member countries. Today, it stands as one of boxing's four major organizations, alongside the World Boxing Association, WBA, International Boxing Federation, IBF, and World Boxing Organization, WBO. Together, these entities collaborate to uphold a shared commitment to advancing the sport worldwide. Under the leadership of its longest-serving president, Jose Sulaiman, from 1975 until his passing in 2014, the WBC introduced reforms that would redefine boxing's global landscape. His son, Mauricio Sulaiman, has since taken the reins, continuing the legacy of innovation. One of the WBC's most pivotal contributions was the 1983 decision to reduce championship bouts from 15 rounds to 12 after the tragic death of Kim Duk-Koo. This landmark reform, focused on boxer safety, was soon adopted by other organizations, setting a new standard in the sport. The WBC's iconic green championship belt, adorned with the flags of its member nations, became the ultimate symbol of boxing excellence. Legends like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and Manny Pacquiao proudly hoisted the belt, etching their names into the annals of sports history. Beyond the traditional belts, the WBC introduced unique titles such as the Silver and Diamond Championships to commemorate exceptional achievements. The Diamond Championship, for instance, debuted in 2009 when Manny Pacquiao triumphed over Miguel Cotto in a memorable clash. Inclusivity has also been a hallmark of the WBC's legacy. In 2005, Jackie Nava became its first female world champion, signaling a new era for women's boxing. The organization further celebrated female pioneers like Christy Martin and Layla Ali, ensuring their contributions to the sport were recognized on par with their male counterparts. The WBC also awarded honorary titles like the Franchise and Eternal Championships, honoring exceptional figures such as Vitaly Klitschko and Giselle Salandi for their undefeated reigns. However, the WBC's journey hasn't been without challenges. In 1998, a controversial decision to strip Graciano Raccagiani of his light heavyweight title in favor of reinstating Roy Jones Jr. led to a $31 million legal judgment against the organization. This financial crisis forced the WBC into bankruptcy in 2004, but true to its resilient spirit, it emerged stronger after negotiating a settlement. In recent years, the WBC has continued to adapt to a rapidly changing world. Amid the Russian invasion of Ukraine, it banned championship bouts involving Russian and Belarusian boxers. It also announced plans to establish a separate category for transgender athletes to ensure fair competition and uphold the sport's integrity. The WBC's story is one of tradition meeting innovation, shaped by a relentless pursuit of excellence. In the glittering world of professional boxing, where every punch echoes with dreams of glory, one organization has fought its way to prominence by standing for integrity and transparency: the International Boxing Federation, IBF. Its journey from humble beginnings to becoming one of the sport's major pillars is as dramatic and resilient as the champions it crowns. It all began in 1983, amid the sun-drenched beaches of Puerto Rico, where tensions simmered during the World Boxing Association's annual convention. Robert W. Bobby Lee Sr., president of the United States Boxing Association, USBA, had his sights set on leading the WBA. But when his campaign fell short against Gilberto Mendoza, frustration boiled over. Refusing to accept the outcome, Lee and his supporters walked out, igniting a bold idea to create a new organization that would redefine world boxing. Originally called WBA International, the fledgling entity was officially renamed the International Boxing Federation on November 6, 1983, establishing its headquarters in New Jersey, a home it still proudly claims today. The IBF's early days were modest, but by 1984, it had made waves by recognizing established champions like Larry Holmes, Aaron Pryor, Marvin Hagler, and Donald Curry. Larry Holmes, a titan of the sport, even relinquished his WBC title to align with the IBF, a seismic shift that cemented its legitimacy. Its first official world champion, Marvin Camel, brought prestige to the organization, winning the IBF Cruiserweight title and further solidifying its rise. The IBF quickly became known for its distinctive red and gold belt, a symbol of its commitment to fairness and honor. But like every great story, the organization's journey wasn't without turbulence. In 1999, a shadow was cast over its reputation when founder Bobby Lee was indicted on racketeering charges following a 3-year federal investigation. Accused of accepting bribes to manipulate rankings, Lee's conviction for money laundering and tax evasion sent shockwaves through the boxing world. The scandal exposed deep-rooted corruption, but it also marked a turning point for the IBF. Under federal oversight and new leadership, the IBF began its quest for redemption. Hiawatha Knight, a trailblazer and the first woman to lead a world boxing organization, spearheaded efforts to restore credibility. Her successor, Marion Muhammad, and later Daryl J. Peoples, continued to guide the IBF through its evolving role in the global boxing landscape. The IBF didn't just stop at boxing. It expanded into Muay Thai, holding its inaugural convention in Bangkok in 2017, where champions in 3 weight divisions were crowned. It also took a bold stand on global issues, barring Russian and Belarusian boxers from championship fights following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, demonstrating its commitment to responsibility beyond the ring. Today, the IBF stands tall as one of the 4 major organizations recognized by the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Amid the electrifying drama of professional boxing, where careers are forged with every blow, the World Boxing Organization, WBO, emerged in 1988 as a game-changer, rewriting the narrative of the sport. Emerging from a stormy split within the World Boxing Association, WBA, the WBO was forged in the heat of conflict and determination. What began as a defiant move by a group of Puerto Rican and Dominican visionaries has since transformed into one of the sport's most influential governing bodies, shaping champions and captivating fans worldwide. The story of the WBO began at a WBA convention, where tensions flared over disagreements about the rules of the sport. A faction of businessmen, unwilling to compromise, broke away to chart their own path. Among them was Ramon Pina Acevedo, the WBO's first president, whose resolve to bring a fresh perspective to boxing laid the foundation for a new era. The fledgling organization's inaugural championship fight saw Thomas Hearns defeat James Kinchin for the vacant super middleweight title, signaling the start of the WBO's audacious journey. Despite its dramatic debut, the road ahead was anything but smooth. To gain credibility, the WBO turned to former light heavyweight champion Jose Torres, whose reputation brought a sense of legitimacy to the organization during his presidency. Yet heavyweight boxing proved to be a persistent challenge. While the world celebrated Mike Tyson as the undisputed heavyweight king, the WBO crowned Francesco Damiani after a clash with Johnny Dupuis. Early champions like Michael Moorer and Riddick Bowe often relinquished their titles for greener pastures, underscoring the WBO's struggle for recognition. The WBO found its footing in the lighter weight divisions, where charismatic fighters like Chris Eubank, Johnny Tapia, and Nassim Hamed captivated audiences and elevated its status during the 1990s. Fighters like Marco Antonio Barrera, Oscar de la Hoya, Joe Calzaghe, and Vladimir Klitschko further bolstered its prestige, as did its growing influence in Europe, where WBO champions frequently excelled in unification bouts against their WBA, WBC, and IBF counterparts. Still, controversy wasn't far behind. In 1997, Ricardo Lopez, the WBC minimum weight champion, claimed the WBO minimum weight title in a knockout victory over Alex Sanchez. Planning to gift the belt to his father, Lopez soon found himself blindsided when WBO President Francisco Valcarcel declared the title vacant without notice, sparking a contentious dispute. Another blemish came when deceased boxer Darren Morris was posthumously promoted twice in the super middleweight rankings, an embarrassing oversight that cast a shadow on the organization's meticulousness. By 2000, the WBA began recognizing WBO champions, followed by the IBF in 2007, marking the organization's growing acceptance among its peers. Its innovations, such as the Super Champion designation, offered elite fighters unique opportunities to challenge for titles in new weight classes, further distinguishing the WBO's approach to the sport. Under the enduring leadership of Francisco Valcarcel, who served as president for nearly 3 decades, the WBO navigated the complexities of modern boxing with a mix of tradition and adaptability. While it declined to participate in a 2014 summit discussing the unification of champions, the WBO took a unifying stance during the COVID-19 pandemic, hosting a historic meeting with all major sanctioning bodies to address the logistics of mandatory defenses for unified and undisputed champions. Today, headquartered in San Juan, Puerto Rico, the WBO stands shoulder to shoulder with the WBA, WBC, and IBF as one of boxing's four major governing bodies. In the early days of boxing, amidst roaring crowds and smoke-filled arenas, one question always loomed: who was the true champion? In a sport rife with rivalries, disputes, and divided opinions, the need for a definitive answer gave rise to one of the most iconic symbols in boxing history: the ring title. Born in 1922 under the stewardship of the Ring magazine, this title emerged as a beacon of clarity in a chaotic era, long before the likes of the WBC, WBA, or IBF came into existence. It was created to honor the true lineal champion in each weight class, free from politics and promotional influence. A belt that represented merit, not maneuvering. To earn this coveted prize, a fighter had to do more than hold a belt. They had to conquer the reigning champion or rise undeniably to the top contender spot in their division. Over the decades, this uncompromising standard saw the ring title worn by legends like Jack Dempsey, Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, and Marvin Hagler, names that defined the golden age of the sport. But even the most sacred symbols are not immune to controversy. In the early 2000s, the ring faced criticism for its rankings and title decisions, casting a shadow over its legacy. Recognizing the need for reform, then Editor-in-Chief Nigel Collins spearheaded a revival in 2002, restoring the title's prestige by reinforcing its commitment to fairness and integrity. Today, the ring title stands as more than just a belt. It is a testament to a fighter's supremacy and a nod to boxing's rich lineage. In a sport filled with fleeting accolades, it remains a timeless emblem of greatness, a prize that every champion dreams of hoisting high. Before you go, join our channel to unlock exclusive perks, like suggesting future topics and getting early access to new videos. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe to stay updated. Up next, check out top 10 heavyweight power punchers of all time for more thrilling action and incredible stories from the world of boxing. See you in the ring next time.